Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast.
Eliminated last night. We lost a legend. Ryan is now sad.
Yeah, the Dragon Slayer has just been slayed.
Dragon Slayer. Oh, and Chrissy.
Yeah,
Were
and
both my people.
yeah, yeah. I will say you're now down to four people left. And I'm down
I
to seven.
Several. I am
So
aware of that fact. It was kind of funny because our draft, it was like between Aubrey and Devins and then Coach and Chrissy. And I couldn't help like, all right, this is like a pseudo showdown between Joe and I right now. It's
yeah,
like
a
both our
big
winner
swing.
picks. And the thing is, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, the very start of this episode, we were showing how he was almost the target last episode. And when that's the main thing they show in the recap, it's like, well, either A wins immunity and then doubles down on stuff, or he's screwed.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's also a point pretty early on where Stephanie was saying, the honor loyalty was talking about Coach, Joe, Jonathan, Suri, Ozzy, like they were like we were all lock and solid. Like, and if someone says that early on, I can tell you this: that is not a lock and solid group. Like, so
no,
that usually is put right before a downfall of said group.
because Ozzy even said in the previous episode, like he's like, yeah, I'm not really with Coach. I'm like, and
Yeah.
like that's kind of like the thing is like, all right, we're gonna like listen to Coach for now, but when the time comes, he has to go. But we're gonna use him for a little bit, which
Mhm.
originally made me think, okay, maybe he's safe, but because it was, and I think I called it last episode what they would do.
Yeah.
Where it would be like everyone is kind of like tethered to their partner.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I have I
what was
have
your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't like the twists. Now I will say I like the episode, but I think this twist could have been handled differently to be more fair to the players. Because Chrissy 100% would not have tethered herself to Coach had she known the rules. Coach in an exit interview said he wouldn't have tethered himself to Chrissy had he known about the elimination here. Um,
Percy was like, because I watched
yeah,
the whatever the exit interview they do on what is it, the day, not the Daily Show,
the morning CBS
CBS
morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and she was like, yeah, like we were, working together from the beginning and stuff. So like we didn't know that twist.
Yeah.
I think like yeah, obviously, and we've seen this kind of twist happen on orgs where it is like oh, people are paired up. Typically the strategy is you make sure you're with someone, that's pretty tight on their alliance so that way they don't like use them as a sacrificial lamb, like kind of like
Mm.
what Christian explained, that he was a safe option because it's like, all right, no one from Coach's side is going to target Jonathan,
Yeah.
and no one from my side is going to target, like me. So, they were good, barring yeah, like any advantages, and like there was a potential idol get in that could have technically happened if enough people played their shot in the darks.
Yeah, yeah, true. There could have been some pretty wacky shenanigans going on, but yeah, I think they absolutely needed to let the players know that two people were going home and that your pairs mattered for that reason. Because obviously we've seen pairs in the past with Survivor for this kind of stuff, and it's usually just the challenge, and then that's kind of it. So that's why clearly a lot of the like talk was just about challenges and how you're going to do in the challenge. So people definitely weren't even thinking too much. Coach, even in one of his extra interviews, almost said that they almost left it completely to chance of who they were going to get tethered to. So I think if they ever did this again, which I don't know if they will, I think this is just they were just doing wacky shenanigans because there's so many people and they just got to get rid of people. You got to let them know in tree mail that it's a double, like that. You got to let them know because it sucks for Chrissy. I mean, and now we know why her edit is the way it
Yeah.
is because she goes out with Coach and like being the first, like, it's not even like she gets this big moment even with Coach together as both their torches are getting snubbed. It is just like, okay, Chrissy, hurry up so we can get to the big heroic music and all the big moment with Coach here.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't mind it because at the end of the day, it was a twist. And it's like, it's something where if I was a player, I would have liked to know beforehand. However, sometimes people throw you curveballs and you just kind of roll with it. So I don't mind it from that aspect because I'm like, that was just how the game was. But they also did something like a little different this time, which I know when they made the huge deal about the blood moon, and then the internet's reaction was, oh, it's just three tribal councils and one thing. It's basically another tribe swap, basically.
Yeah.
This one they did something a little different. And I think the episode benefited from it. I will say they should have done that either A at merge or B next episode, because the
Yeah.
fact that they did it when there was someone, odd person out, it's like, guaranteed immunity basically. And then like if they go on exile, there might be something there this time.
Yeah. When also, I mean, the fact that Suri comes back just genuinely made like the world of a difference because now Suri can
Yes.
come back. Why are you going to now upset Suri, who you know is going to be here next round? Like, and she's got like a very clear like, no, whatever you guys were thinking was dumb. Let's do this instead because this is what we got to do. like you're not going to then be
Yeah.
like, screw you, Suri. Like you know that you got to work with Suri still. You can't really now just like say screw you. If she stayed on exile, yeah, something else could have happened, I think. But the fact that Suri comes back and just essentially dictated a lot of like the strategy afterwards.
Well, it wasn't. Well, I think what happened was there was always this air of like trying to get coach out. And then, it's like, oh, well, it's different than if it was like a split tribal council, or if it's like two. It's like, all right, this time we're getting a duo out
Mm.
and someone who has been kind of like, like part of it was, oh, coach is like commanding a lot of the vote, or he did the one time, or we let him. But also, it's like, we don't want that energy around camp anymore, but it's a good shield. But then it pivoted to like, well, if Emily wants coach gone, and if Chrissy, like is throwing out Rizzo's name, Rizzo's not going to want to keep her around.
Yeah.
And then Sari, after being told that, is definitely not want to keep Chrissy around. So like as soon as she said, "Oh, Rizzo and Emily," I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're fucked.
Yeah, no, I looked over to my friends and I was like, that was probably the worst thing she could have said in this moment. Clearly just not having a good read that Rizzo is so much tighter with so many more people.
Yes.
Clearly thinking that, oh, Emily's just a chaotic player. Rizzo's this new person who's no one's seen play the game. So like, and this is the thing, Chrissy is such a logical player where like those two factors feel like logically they should be in danger for Emily and Rizzo, but she did not have the social read of how well Rizzo is with everyone else. Like she didn't factor that into her logic. And so for her it was like, yeah, of course, why aren't we doing this instead? But yeah, like that was just a complete misread of the situation. And also for her, I think, to tell coach to not do anything and just sit in the hammock and just do nothing bad. I think the great thing of coach is his craziness feels like a smokescreen where people go like, "What do we really want to get rid of coach for?" Like he's crazy. But when you kind of like downtone that, and you just have him sit in the hammock and let him just do haikus to the cameramen. Like people aren't now seeing him as a crazy person. They're just like, oh, he's not even playing. This will be easy for us now. Just dogpile on him.
He needed a healthy medium.
Mm-hmm.
He needed to like go out there, just like relax a little bit. And, like, and in the beginning of the episode, you hear like Jonathan being like, yeah, you really, you know, you led the ship for this one,
Mm-hmm.
but for the next one, play it cool, keep low, don't, like let someone else take charge of this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I would say if he followed more of like Jonathan's kind of like stream of thinking where it's like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, yeah, you can, but like yes, and don't be like, no, it must be this. Because that's what really turned so many people away from him
Yeah,
the previous
I
episode.
think you can be calm when the target isn't on you, but when the target is on you, you gotta be playing. You have to be trying to get people on your
Exactly.
side. So I think Jonathan's idea was fine at that time, but the second that this pair twist came, I mean, Chrissy literally like keeled over when the twist was announced because she knew what was about to happen. She knew, like you
Yeah.
see it on her face that she knows she's screwed. Uh, and and like coach obviously also knows this. Like that's why Chrissy was so freaking out and being like, "Don't do anything, don't do anything." But because they were one of those clear targets, like and literally like as I saw the teams, I was like, it has to be either Coach Chrissy or Devins or Aubrey. Like those were literally the only two options that made any
Yeah.
sense for anyone in the game.
Yeah, because with also how this works, and we'll get to the shot in the dark later, and I think there was a misplay with what they could have done with the shot in the dark,
Yeah,
Chrissy and Coach.
yeah.
But that also means, and Jeff said, so if someone plays an idol, both of you are immune. So that means also you don't want to risk it on you don't want to risk it on Ozzy or Stephanie, and you don't want to risk it on Rizzo and Emily because if they
Mhm.
play their idol just to be safe this round, because like there is a little bit extra pressure because you're attached to someone else, and then
Mhm.
also it's like the other person can be like, can you please play it, or it's like, oh, it's like because it is a double,
Mhm.
um that it makes them, it's like, so my vote might not matter. In fact, I feel part of the reason they also didn't go for Devins and Aubrey is the fact was like, well, Devin's also really good at finding idols. So it's like, I mean, like, and from what everyone else knows, except for, Christian, is that Devins was the one that gave Aubrey the idol.
Mhm.
But, like, and then I don't think it was the nail in the coffin, but the whole, idol being planted at tribal council, then doing it in that moment, anyone who was maybe wavering, it was like their resolve was, you know, it's like, yeah, we got to vote for Coach and Chrissy because he just
Yeah.
pulled something out this tribal. I
Yeah.
will say, Stephanie clocked him a little bit. It was like, can you show us right
Yeah.
now? And then he's like, no. And I'm like, a little sus, obviously. You
Yeah,
need
but
something there.
yeah, but also, I mean, he's trying to. I can understand in that moment, like being like, "Screw you! I'm not gonna show you anything because come at me. Like, let me prove it here by having you still vote for me." So I know it's kind of like, oh, she kind of saw it, but also if she had like properly clocked it, she would have been telling more people about it being a fake idol or something like that. It didn't feel like it felt like there's still so much of like we can't really we don't know if it's fake or not. Like there's still a little bit of that wavering, and that's all that was needed was that little bit of uncertainty.
I mean, all right. So the thing about faking an idol, it's really hard to fake one. Because the idea has been out there since season 14.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some better than others. However, no one has ever planted an idol at tribal council
Yeah.
to only pick it up later and find it there. That hasn't been done before. So it wouldn't really occur to a lot of people that that
Mhm.
was the thing to do.
Mhm.
So from that point of view, I can see why it was like, oh, like he just found something there. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, I feel like going into tribal, they weren't the real target.
Mhm.
And like I feel if they were the real target, I feel like they probably would have pushed more to see it.
Mhm.
Um, because usually people who are feigning an idol, like let's look at what was it? Australia versus the war, the whole thing with the shoe
World.
and stuff like that. Where it's like if you're making such a big like big song and dance out of it. Usually, like you doth protest too much. And then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, he doesn't have anything because you would rather people want to not think you have it. So that way you can surprise and play correctly.
Yeah. I mean, I think he didn't overplay it personally. I think he did
No,
just
no,
enough.
no. I
Yeah.
feel I feel it was enough, but I'm
Mhm.
like saying like if he was the target, I feel like they probably would have pressed him more in
Yeah,
the
but
moment.
I also think a lot of people were so concerned. I mean, like we see Jonathan still vote for them. So Jonathan clearly believed that votes were going to be on Rick and Aubrey enough for him to still put his vote there. So I do think that there was definitely going to be votes going towards Rick and Aubrey that get changed because of this. Is that majority? Hard to say. I think it's a little muddy. Like even coach, he was saying like he thinks it was 50-50 on it. And then he was like, but maybe even 60-40, but like at least a 10% swing difference happened with that, which is enough to really kind of give them the odds to survive here. Um, I don't know how well we're going to see because I think that did change so much where a lot of people who maybe were thinking of voting Rick and Aubrey switched, and we're gonna have to see if people are even telling the truth because sometimes after seasons they're going to be like, actually, we meant to do this the whole time because they want to feel like a little smarter. They don't want to feel like they got duped. Um,
Yeah. I mean, like
so
the thing is, it's like people can tell whatever narrative they want. Someone
yeah.
can be like, yeah, I was hiding my strategy from the producer during my confessionals, and who are we to say whether or not that's true or not?
Yeah, exactly. So
But
I am in the camp that things did change. It's just I don't know how it was like majority, but I do think that Rick and Aubrey absolutely would have gotten at least 4 to 5 votes minimum. But you know, eh, yeah,
maybe coach doesn't play his shot in the dark. All right. I
yeah,
still also am like pondering like when I saw it, it's like, all right, here's the move they could have potentially done. They both had 2 votes. They both had a shot in the dark. They went from a 1-6 theoretically to a 1-3 shot in doing it. Like so
yeah.
like when that happens, it's like, huh, if you think about it, you could have, you know, went in and both of you sacrifice your vote in order to potentially get your odds because a lot of people's
Mhm.
complain about the shot in the dark. It's a 1-6 chance.
Yeah.
Uh, it's only ever been successfully used twice in the history of the new era. Granted, 10 seasons. It's not like everyone does it on their way out,
Mhm.
but like it's terrible odds. So it's like this is the one time in Survivor history where the odds are actually more in your favor.
Yeah. And especially after seeing, I think Rick and Aubrey do that, and you see whispering that clearly might not be going in your favor. I do also agree. I think Chrissy should have also used her shot in the dark, and just kind of because like they're at that point, their votes kind of didn't matter. Like it just well, it was going to be a meet point. Everyone else was going to figure out a new like a plan to make sure that an idol didn't screw them. So
Yeah.
it was literally like go to save a scenario, which is Coach and Christie, because we were kind of talking about that already, and they don't have anything. Let's just go for them. So yeah, they should have, but obviously in the heat of the moment, Christie, I guess, just assumed like, let me just throw my vote here. Coach, if it works, then great, but obviously didn't there. So could have done better. I feel so bad for Chrissy because
Yeah,
she ties confessional count with Savannah, who was eliminated in episode 2.
that's very bad.
Yeah, yeah. She got 11 confessionals. She barely breaks double digits, and she's in 8 episodes of the season.
Yeah. Um, and this goes back to the whole debate, of like women being under edited this season. She was one of the prime examples of that as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I feel like sometimes it's funny because I forget which YouTuber did it, but they were like, here are some of the unluckiest contestants in Survivor history.
yeah. I think that was
Some of
Peridium.
them, yeah, Peridium. One was Sari, just based on 4 different circumstances of her elimination.
Yeah,
The other was Genevieve, who found 2 idols and then ended up on the wrong tribe and was just shy of winning immunity as well.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, so like, and I feel like Chrissy, she might end up being on that Mount Rushmore. I mean, like at the very least, she's in the top 10 because that's just not only was it the fire making twist way
yeah.
back in her original season with it just being introduced, but it is poetic. A new twist being introduced also takes her out here.
Yeah, you get. I bet you if there's another poll, she's gonna vote no twists. Yeah,
We know that there's going to be, like, there's going to be twists in Survivor. There's just
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Though I will say it's interesting that they kept this little thing in the edit, but they were like Christian was a little sassy. He was like, I'm not sure we quite voted on that specifically, but we
yeah.
did vote for twins.
Which is what the audience has been saying this entire time, that they keep being like, the fans wanted this, and it's like, I mean, you gave us the option of twists or no twists. What do you think we're gonna do? Say no twist, keep it boring? Like, we want twists, just make the twists fair. Like when we think of twists, we think of exile islands, we think of tribe swaps. Like we're thinking of all these other like staples of Survivor when we hear twists. Like that's just what we think of, not blood moons, not voting out people in pairs. Like that's not.
Like, I don't mind those things though. I know that some other people were like, yeah, yeah, but like, I think they were done. Blood Moon was a little like they could have just said it's a triple. I don't think it was should have been given the distinction of Blood Moon. This tethered one, this like tandem one, was a little bit more special because we haven't really seen anything like that on Survivor before. Um, so it's like I understand them wanting to come up with a new twist. Some will always be received better than others. Like, obviously one of the biggest ill-received twists of all time was the hourglass. And
Yeah,
then like sometimes they'll do some that work. But then again, like way back their first ever twist was in season 3. Hey, we're gonna do a tribe swap. It's like send 3 people on a mission. All right, you go over here, you go over there. Welcome to your new tribes. It's like twists will come and go. And they'll be used wherever. I think it's just like how does it shape the story?
yeah. I think the issue is that production is just getting their hands in it too much. Like when the cast is being the cast, it's electric. The season can be so good, but some like the production is just trying to have so much crazy stuff going on that it's kind of interfering with some of the enjoyment of watching the cast like play the games they want to play, because now they're being forced to do something that might not even necessarily be in their best interest, but they just kind of have to, because that's just what was decided on a board, months ago before the game started. Um,
Yeah.
so
I
yeah.
gotta ask, are you pro or con this twist? Because like you've
Oh,
given me like
I'm calling this twist. I think it was a good episode. I don't I never want to see this twist again. I think it's terrible for Survivor. I think it's so bad that two people go home in this way because it just created a very muddy elimination. Like it was not a great elimination there for Chrissy, for instance. She just kind of
yeah, I mean like
if anyone had gone out here, I would have been upset. Like the fact that two people's names are on a single parchment that people are writing down. I just don't like that. I think that at the end of the day, it just kind of muddies the whole experience. Especially when they didn't know that was why they were creating their pairs.
I do have to point out the little bit of the interesting thing. My winner pick went out
Yeah.
with this twist because that was a contributing factor was, oh, they're a duo, so they have to go. And I still think it is a good twist. I think it's something where I think it be a staple of Survivor? No, I do think they should do it here and there, not be married to using that idea all the time. But I do think it's an interesting because it does change the dynamic and stuff. Like Survivor does have some luck elements, though I lay you odds in season 51 or season 672, whatever they get into like pairs and stuff, they're going to be wary of that in the future of like, oh, we might be, like connected, or oh, if I partner up with you for this thing, it could lead to my elimination. Like surprises will come. And, like for me, it's like when it comes to fairness, I would say the only thing that was a little unfair is that like Suri kind of just got away a little scot free with it. Now, granted, she had to do a challenge on Exile. We'll get to that in a minute. But what makes it fair is it's like y'all were just told to pick your pairs. It wasn't like someone knew ahead of time or like this and that. It's
I
like they
think
couldn't even.
everyone should have known ahead of time about what they were getting into. That to me, that is the reason why this twist doesn't work. Is the fact that they had no clue.
I don't think.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like people would have had different pairs had they had known. Like some
Yes.
people would have been, wanting to stay where they are, but there would have definitely been a bigger fight to be paired with other people had they have known. And to me, that's the important thing is when you are giving a twist, everyone should have full information before the twist like goes into full effect. If you only get like a little scrap and then you suddenly, and then like everyone has to lock in and then you do the twist and the kind of shake it up like that way, it's just very, very unfair to the players.
I think
Now, I
if
think
that's how it is for everyone, then it's not unfair. It's like it's unlucky. I
yeah,
won't say that Chrissy isn't unlucky, but I wouldn't say it's unfair.
I think it truly is. I think if someone is getting screwed because they didn't know what was going on, I do think that is like just by definition an unfair way to go out of the game, especially for a game of for $1 million. I think that's the important distinction here. Is this isn't an org. This isn't some online game that people are playing and you just end a game and then you move on to the next one. This is a game for $1 million with big stakes, and you can't just let randomness essentially take you out like this. And I think it feels good to you right now because we're comparing the twist also to the Blood Moon twist, which was a terrible twist. Like by comparison, this
I'm not
twist looks better.
comparing the two. I'm
It,
just like,
but but
all
but
right,
but
these
they're
are.
next to each other. They're like we're comparing twists, and they are literally next to each other. And yeah, this twist is technically a better twist than the Blood Moon. Blood Moon is, in my opinion, like a bottom five twist of Survivor. I think it was terrible for TV.
I don't think it's a bottom five twist. I think they shouldn't have just named it the blood moon, and then
No,
people would have been fine.
the concept of how they divided the blood moon were groups of five. Five is literally the worst number for an interesting tribal council. So that's why we got a bunch of pretty like
I disagree at
generic.
4.
No, four can actually be pretty interesting because if you get two, 2v2s, then a fire making challenge can happen. Like there's ways for that to be interesting.
Okay, fair point there. And I do think you bring up a good point, but let me bring up some points. Joe, I am one of the unluckiest people on this planet. So much so that I think that the universe will rewrite itself just to mess with me. I have been in situations that have been unlucky. I have been in situations that are unfair. Are the two, like can some events be both? Yes. But if I'm looking at the gameplay and stuff like that, it is more unlucky. And yeah, if I were Chrissy and I was taken out like this, I would be, like I would be thinking that it is like unfair or stuff like that, or I would be thinking, wow, I was really unlucky in this. However, objectively, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, it's just unlucky as opposed to unfair.
I also want to bring up I was in an org that had this kind of twist going on. Big Brother Vanquish, It Takes Two. But guess what? At the beginning of the game, they said, hey, you guys are going to be competing and getting eliminated as pairs before we had even like linked up with anyone. So there was a very clear, and that's why I picked Portia right away from Big Brother, because I knew no one's going to want to eliminate her right away. So I paired myself up with her
No,
strategically.
she was going to do that all her lonesome. Well, not all
Yeah.
her lonesome, like her and Brett. Y'all, so we'll say so. Portia, who we've both had the pleasure of playing a game with, you with her, me against her.
Yeah.
Uh, and so in that one, if the HOHs could not come to decision when there is a tie, they would be eliminated themselves. Her
Yeah.
and this guy named Brad could not come to the decision, and they were extremely adamant on standing their ground, and they got eliminated as a result, which
Yeah.
I think is stupid. And it's fun fact because we won't get into that, but it's like the thing is, and there's also a reason why the season they base that twist off of is regarded as one of the worst seasons. Now, granted, I think that was more so the cast, not necessarily like the gameplay mechanic. But like, I know it's stressful to be a part of. I can only imagine. I don't like, my destiny being in someone else's hand in case they mess up. And I
Yeah.
don't like, if my actions and stuff got someone else like, in trouble and they get dragged down with me.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, like I understand that. But I think we're just going to be on two ends of the of the spectrum of what like if
Yeah.
this was unfair or not. I was
Yeah.
like, I think
The reason I
it
was
was
bringing up
fair.
that game, I still had stuff up for it, and it's because I've talked to people, and a lot of people were pretty mad about going out because of just simply because of who their partner was,
Yes,
and that is just an inherent fault of the gameplay mechanic of it is that what like everyone still wants to go after the targets, and sometimes it's just like I guess this person just has to be a casualty. I was almost a casualty for that same reason because I was paired to someone who was a sibling in that season with someone else, and he was a huge target. And people literally were just like, maybe Joe's just got to go. If he goes, it's whatever. And it's like that wasn't me. That was like there was nothing I could have done to like change that perception. Luckily, I had some people to back me up, but it still resulted in that instance, Aaron, who was tied to someone else who was kind of on the outs, going home. like it's literally there's always going to be someone who just gets screwed, and it's not for their own fault.
I understand. But like I said, there is a difference between unlucky and unfair. I and like, unfair. I would say drags are a little bit more.
I
I
hate
mean, like the
drags.
thing is, drags are a little bit more. I would say, like uh, even then, I can see the argument of like why drags are, technically fair, but it's like it is a shitty feeling, and it's like
Yeah.
if it's a game mechanic and it's not RNG, like the thing is, it's like unfair would mean like it's heavily like tilted against you or tilted against certain player, whereas in a vacuum, if like yeah, I think we could talk in circles about it.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying it's like if the game is created that way, it might be shitty to play it that way. However, that is what the game is. So it's like, is it unlucky if you're tied to someone who's a huge target like Chrissy or like, Aaron Trout, who was on our channel?
Mhm.
Uh, absolutely. But, to say it's unfair would be like, oh, like another big twist. All right, there was one twist in there that I was a little about. And it was like, the charity thing. It was like, oh, if you raise
Yeah.
this much money, then you're safe. Where I'm like, well, that's a little unfair to some people. Like, I know like the name of the game is for charity,
Yeah.
but like if it's a weekly occurrence, it's like, well, some people will be in better positions to do that than others. Like, that's just like name of the game. It's like not everyone has the same like pull as some other people and also the same financial situation.
Yeah. I mean, I raised a few $100 and that didn't give me anything. So,
So like, like I would say that element was unfair and other elements you have told me were unfair.
yeah.
But like from not even that, but like different ores and stuff like that. But like, um, unlucky is being attached to one of the siblings. Unlucky is being attached to coach, or unlucky is pulling a rock.
But the reason that it's not just unlucky is that it becomes unfair when you are volunteering yourself to be attached to someone who is going to be targeted and you don't realize about the elimination. That to me, that is what changes it from an unlucky to an unfair. If they knew and Chrissy volunteered to work with coach, I wouldn't be complaining. I would be like, this is fine. Like she knew what she was signing up for, but she just didn't. It was supposed to just be a challenge for her, so it was like, okay, she probably was like, I'm probably not winning this anyways. I'll be with coach. We've been together. Let's just do it. But it had it been a different, if it had been stated, things change. And to me,
Things would absolutely change, but it's like that's the difference of the gameplay. But it wasn't like
but then it becomes about the individual strategies of why you're teaming up with people. It becomes way more like bigger instead of just like I'm just teaming with these people for this challenge. It then becomes like, oh, I got to pair with people who I'm not afraid. And then we would have seen the people who are dangerous feel like they are now on, like, no one wants to team with them. And that would have been interesting. That would have been way more interesting TV.
that's more of a coulda, woulda, shoulda, not necessarily things
But
being
it's more,
unfair.
no, that is
No, it's
straight
more
up.
entertainment.
No,
I would say like
it is
it does add a better
100%
level
about
to the
fair.
game.
No, you can't
It
say
leads to a
that that's
better, I would
unfair. What are
say,
you? Okay, go ahead, talk, because clearly you don't
no,
understand us.
no, I understand where you're coming from. I just disagree. Um,
I don't know how. It's literally impossible to not realize that. Like, if you had given someone the full rules, okay, but you know what? Fine, let's play Monopoly. I'm not going to tell you any rules. I'm going to just make up shits, and I'm going to say that this is how it goes now
that's
because
not
that
all
is
right. There's a difference between that and
no,
someone
no,
hosting a game and giving you different things.
no.
Also, Joe, if you and I are playing Monopoly, neither one of us knows the rules going in. It's not like it's not like only you knew
No.
about the game of
I'm going to
Monopoly.
get some other friend who's just going to make up shit and start giving us random things and be like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to move this property over here because that seems like it will be more interesting and more fun. So let me just go ahead and start moving things around.
That's okay. That's way different. And
No. It
also,
is not.
no, that is
You
extremely
got to be
different.
playing it with the full knowledge of a twist. If you are going to like make people be forced into something and not know the full knowledge of the twist, it's unfair. It is literally a bad game mechanic, and is something
I
that
think
survivors should not have.
I think we need to make this a poll because I feel like we will be here for another 30 minutes discussing this portion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bad. I am very much against everything that this twist have. Yet again, there's great stuff that happened in this episode, but it is not about the twist. The twist to me is not what actually I liked. It is the part that I disliked. What I liked about the episode, obviously, it has to do with Suri and how she managed to maneuver, and it had to do with Rick Devens and the fake idol. Like that is the stuff that I enjoyed.
So, all right, we're gonna make a poll here on YouTube. Also, you said impossible when you should have said improbable. Nothing is impossible. Things are improbable. Anywho,
No, things can be impossible.
such as
Me winning an org.
improbable,
No, impossible.
improbable. Also, we need to work on your self-talk. If you're watching this, give Joe some love in the comments.
No. Tell me I'm a terrible person.
The comments will be very
Yeah.
on on what they decide to shower you with,
Yeah.
hate or love.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywho, but what we will say, we're okay. We're talking about the Suri twist. So she's on Exile Island, and she does have the option of going back and participating in the vote. And like it's one of those things where whomever goes, they have the option of like nothing says you can't participate because like, oh, if you're just on exile and nothing happens, it's like, well, I didn't have a chance to come back or anything, so whatever y'all did, not. But like Suri being like, a concerned alliance member and a good, alliance member to Rizzo and Ozzy is like, all right, I'm gonna have to like try this. Also, like Suri seldom has wins challenges on her lonesome, and this is like, like a task, but still a challenge in some degree. And
Yeah.
so it was nice seeing her win it. I will say this one is tedious, but it depends on your strategy. And it
Yeah.
also depends whether the logo is visible from, like if it's buried in the sand or if it's like out and
I
about.
mean, they definitely gave us shots to make it look like if you had just kind of walked around, you could have seen it pretty easily.
Yes.
Um, and
I would
also
have I would have ran and just like scanned everything real quick and then like be like,
I
okay.
think that's the strategy. Also, she started. I think she did not do great strategy in how to do this challenge. She does it, but it is not the greatest strategy where she starts with like the ones right by there. I would have immediately assumed that in a 10 to 15 feet like radius of where you're starting, it's probably not there because they want you to kind of go off and go like. How boring would it have been if she flipped over like two coconuts and found it? Like just the TV moments.
Exactly. It was going to be near it wasn't going to be
Yeah,
near the hourglass. It
yeah,
was going to be like somewhere like three-fourths in one direction or the other.
yeah. So, and also, I mean, clearly there was no time for her to take a break. I was dumbfounded when she sat down and started crying. I genuinely was shocked because I was like, oh my gosh, like I assumed that they would have given her like 10 minutes to be honest. I thought that they would have been like, go, like you got to just like
Yeah.
really go. But yeah, no, she was like, she did a little bit and then kind of took a break, and I was just like, what the heck? And she still gets it. So to me, it felt like they wanted whoever went on exile to come back because I think 95% of the people even watching at home had they been in this situation would have been able to do that challenge.
Yeah, it's something where Sri even said there's nothing impossible. They won't give you something impossible on Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Improbable, however,
Yeah.
is something a little different, but this was something where I can see where the challenge lies. If the symbol was underneath, or she had to break
Mhm.
coconuts in order to do it.
That's what I was expecting when I saw the coconuts. I thought it was like, oh, it's going to be like 4 hours and you got to break all these coconuts and something is going to be hidden in one of them. Um, but yeah, and also, obviously, she goes back and tells the truth about it. I don't know. For me, I would have kept that coconut with the phoenix and had it as a fake idol. That's my Rick Devens in me of what, because if Rick had gone, that's what he would have
I
done.
I would have been a little wary of the coconut.
Yeah.
Or like if I was like on the island, maybe we
Mhm.
might, but it's like she kept it as a souvenir. What if it's not just a souvenir? And
Yeah.
also, it's like usually when you go to exile, you'll get a little something, something else. But so
I wonder if there's
I
something
do
in the
wonder,
coconuts. She
I
hasn't
do wonder,
opened.
yes, if
Yeah.
there is something inside, because like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice coconut and I think it's a good souvenir. However, I'd be completely remiss if I didn't try and crack it open to see if there was a hidden immunity idol inside.
Yeah, no, I think that there's either something inside of it, or you should have just used it as like, because it would have been like that would have sold. Anyone would have believed if you had been like, this is an idol, and you start flaunting it. People would have believed it. Like you're not going to be like, I don't know, that looks like a fake to me. Like that looks like if you hand it to Jeff would say this is an idol.
Oh no, this is very much cleared by production. You can fake a lot of
Yeah,
like idols with like beads and like
yeah,
rocks and shells that you find around the beach.
yeah.
It's harder to fake, like if we look at like the boomerang idol, yeah, that someone designed that and made that.
Mhm.
Um, with a mold and everything.
Yeah.
They slap the mold on to make this coconut. There is no way around it. It's like it's not like like she painted it on herself and put a smiley face on there. No, it is like it is a tangible thing that was
Mhm.
like a mold on top that was like pasted on there.
Mhm. Exactly. So I think Sri could have done it differently, but obviously that's not her strategy to do stuff like that. Which is almost why I wish that Devens had gone, because I mean I just love Devens. Like if
Yeah.
Devens has his chance to do something like a big move or something crazy, he's gonna do it. He's gonna swing for the fences. I mean, we saw it this week. Um, so I want Devens here longer. Every time he's on my screen, I enjoy it.
Well, now he's going to flaunt his fake idol around and stuff because like
Yeah.
when he found it, he even told Aubrey, he was like, I can't play it right now. It's something where it has to go back to camp in order for it to be a live idol. But obviously, I can't say that out loud,
Mhm.
like things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's gonna hopefully try to pawn it off that he can survive another round with it. But obviously the heat is also going to be hugely on him pretty much from now onwards. And this is only final 11.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there was heat on him
Mhm.
because his name was being thrown around. And all right, it is interesting to call the Nerd Alliance, which is basically anyone who like which was basically Rick Devens, Christian, Emily, and Aubrey. It's like the Nerd Squad. They're called in the middle. They clearly
Mhm.
seem like on the other side of things. And I mean, like,
Mhm.
yeah, you had Dee and you had Tiffany, and we'll talk about Tiffany about this episode for a sec afterwards. But it's like, no, these very much seem like people that are on the opposite side of things because you're like targeting them.
Mhm.
So it's like it's up to you whether or not you want to go after these people that are in the middle or on the other side. But
Mhm.
it's like, are they really with you?
Yeah, I think
Are they?
the real middle of this game is Sri, Ozzy, and Rizzo. Like those are the real
Yes.
people in the middle because they are on both the Honor and Integrity Alliance and with the Nerd Squad. Um, So they're way better. And also, I mean, we saw. Well, I mean, we'll just get into a little bit with Joe and Tiffany. Clearly, a bond is being formed there after them being paired up here and getting their spaghetti dinner, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, if Joe says he's locked in with you, he's locked in with you.
And his main thing is loyalty and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will say because like Tiffany, she even admits it. She wants to scream, she wants to yell, she wants to cuss some people out. Um, I've been there. I have done that on some orgs. But you know, it's like you do have to, you know, like she kind of erased her target almost because she was like, yeah, it would have been an easy vote, but because she handed her or like handled herself usually, didn't give a reason. She even says in confessionals like, I'm not
Mhm.
giving them more reason to target me. And then like now it's like, oh, now she's a number that people can use. Ozzy's coming to me, Joe is coming to me. Oh, there are people after the nerds, there are people after the four horsemen. I'm just in the middle and I can go whichever way I want.
Mhm. Yeah, and it goes to her benefit of like she is technically the least threatening player in this game. Why would you take out the least threatening player here when you still have so many other people who are way bigger threats? Um, you know, at a certain point she might hit her like wall, but like there's just really no reason to take her out anytime soon.
No, no. But yeah, so not only that, she wins immunity with Joe. She has the spaghetti. She gets that, I think this was her second time eating with the challenge. So like,
Mhm.
she's keeping her strength up and everything. Uh so I think this was a pretty positive like episode from her. And she's getting more screen time. It's like
Mhm.
some people was like, where was Tiffany this whole time? And it's like, well, she was there, just not shown. They wanted to show Zach Brown
Yeah.
for like a solid 30 minutes.
Yeah, I will say she still has the least amount of confessionals of any of the current players in the game.
She has a lots of ground to make up, so
Yeah,
that's understandable.
yeah. She was essentially a background dressing for the first 5 episodes.
She only had two confessionals, which ties for worst it ties for worst confessional count in an all-star season,
Yeah,
pre-merge wise.
yeah. It was pretty wild, but I mean now she's being shown. Obviously now she's having to go to tribal councils and her name's coming up, so clearly they got to show her a little bit more. But yeah, she's still here. I don't think she's going to be a threat. I think Joe is going to be someone who also is not perceived as a big threat. I mean, we've seen he already is not great at like talking at tribal councils. So I think no one is genuinely that concerned about Joe moving forward. Like, yeah, he can win challenges. But I think there's so many people on this cast that don't really care about winning the individual challenges, and they care more about socially, strategically navigating through the game.
I agree. I agree. Hell, even Ozzy is coming in with that mentality.
Yeah.
Granted, he's older and wiser since last time he's played, but like even he's like, like the poster boy for, Comp Beast is like, you know, I might need some of that strategy.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so it still baffles me how his edit is this season, Joe's edit, because he went from
Yeah.
like very much being like one of the biggest golden boys and favorites from like production, having that iconic moment with Eva
Mhm.
in 48 to being kind of like, oh, he's just not kind of like playing the game, or like he's a little too loyal to a fault, and he's not actually playing Survivor. And that's
Yeah.
basically been his like edit, where he was just like, he's kind of there. We might use him for a number.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about 48 was it was such a loyalty based season. And that's just something that you're not going to see a lot, especially in an all-star season. All-star seasons, everyone wants to make a big move, even if it means that they go out pretty soon. Like they want to have like their stamp on the season. They want to be able to say, like, look back and be like, I'm the reason this person went out. I'm the reason that this went down the way it did. um and loyalty based seasons don't really offer that chance because it's so much about groupthink and working all together and getting your group to the end, and it's really hard to then distinguish who did what when that's kind of the gameplay.
Yeah. Isn't funny that because like after this episode, the tribe that was like originally losing all the challenges in the beginning,
Mhm.
like the original Orange tribe, they had, like they lost Jenna, they lost Savannah. That original tribe has not lost a single person since, and now they make 6 out of the 11.
Yeah.
That is another thing that was kind of like starting to be brought to my attention when they had a little like thing of like everyone's original tribe, and like you've probably seen them on Facebook too.
Mhm.
But like it'll show them the original tribes, who's eliminated, who's on the jury, stuff like that. And then I was like, huh, it's kind of interesting. All the people that were losing in the beginning, they're still here.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to all come together, they could. I don't think Joe's going to be interested in that. I think Suri and Ozzy especially are going to be looking at some point to take out a Christian or a Rick because like they're in the middle. They want we just lost two power players of the Honor Integrity Alliance. If you're in the middle, you now got to look at the other sides. And it is that nerd squad. Someone on that nerd squad needs to go next if you're Suri and Ozzy.
And Christian would Christian or Aubrey seem like the more obvious because like
Mhm.
it's a fake idol basically
Yeah.
that you know Rick Devens has, but people don't know it's fake.
Yeah.
They have, like I said, they have no reason to expect that they planted an idol there because no one's ever done it on Survivor. The thought may have never even occurred to them to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, uh, so like I don't think he's going to be an immediate target. He might get pressured to play his idol, but he's not going to be targeted next tribal council. So it's like it's either probably going to be Aubrey, Christian. I think Emily is too easy of a vote for them because like obviously she's a very prominent player in the game and she'll pretty much spill the beans whenever she can. She'll be like she'll be like just pouring it out, pouring the beans everywhere. Granted, that was rice, but you get what I mean, for
Yeah.
everyone to see. But it is something where it's like, is she like the biggest threat out of those four? Maybe not.
Yeah. I'm definitely scared for Christian. I mean, the next time on Survivor, Christian's clearly he's coming up there. And the season has kind of been like telling you who's the like target is in the next time on Survivor. It has happened quite a bit where it's just like this person's annoying me or this person's doing something crazy and then that person ends up going home.
Yeah.
So
I, I will say Christian's saving grace until we hear something about Mr. Fallon might decide to game in the
yeah,
that was
true.
introduced, that was in the trailer, and we've yet to see that. And we
Yeah.
have like what, 4 or 5 episodes left before the finale.
Yeah. Watch, he's gonna get it like an idol, and it's gonna be like, actually, we're gonna fly you to New York to be on Jimmy Fallon's show right now.
It's yeah. So and also on the next time of Survivor, we see Jeff participating in the challenge. I don't
Yeah.
know what all that entails.
I wonder if
Another
it's
thing
like a reward, but you have to beat Jeff to get the rewards. I don't know.
which that would be interesting, mostly because I know we haven't done an org in a while, hosted, but I
Mhm.
was even like, wouldn't it be funny if people went against me.
Yeah.
It's but if you're watching this and you participate in said org, I guess like you heard it here first, so be
Yeah.
prepared that might happen. Uh, but it's like there is that. We still haven't seen Mr. Beast or his coin. Because
Yeah.
originally when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh wait, are fire tokens coming back? No. So it's like it's probably, and I think you mentioned it, like what they do in Beast games, it's like you flip it to double the pot, the
Yeah.
prize money at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if it's going to be whoever flips it and loses is out of the game. That would very much suck. But also we've seen that in Beast games, so it could also be something that ends up happening here.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but yeah, no, I mean, I'm surprised that the merge idol hasn't been found because like it's now been a few days where they have been on the merge camp together, and
yeah,
there's a lot of people there. There should be a lot of chances for people to find it.
I think sometimes who knows? There have been contestants that might have been doing that.
Mhm,
I will say it is trickier when there's more people around because there'll be like, it's like you're more likely to get caught.
mhm.
Whereas, like, if there's only like 6 or 8 of you on a tribe, you know, more people can be doing shit.
Uh-huh.
Whereas with that number, it could be harder. Also, it might not be important to the story
Yeah,
until then because we've even known Survivor to be like, we will, like show something they actually got it way earlier in the game, but it wasn't relevant until like now.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. It
so
happens all the
time will
time.
tell.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully find out pretty soon because I mean we got even in this episode where they were like, ooh, Aubrey played an idol, that must mean that a new idol is hidden, because even though that's not really, because they're pre-merge idols. So I've always kind
Yes.
of been under the assumption that those are very different than how merge idols, like they're their own entities.
Yes.
So some people still don't, I think, realize that. Some people just are like, oh, an idol got played, I guess that means there's a new idol in the game.
Yeah, because there have been on the record plenty of seasons where people would have like one of the biggest examples was Russell, who
Mhm.
found the merge idol and had his original one from like his old tribe. So like
Yeah,
famously people have found both, or famously there have been merge idols that have been found when
yeah,
none have been played already.
exactly, and that's typically how Survivor goes. So it's interesting whenever you hear, especially an all-star season, when people kind of don't realize that, because and it's not like they thought that Aubrey's was a merge idol, because everyone knew pre-merge that it was the Billie Eilish idol. So it's like you can't even like make that case that that was what I think Jonathan was the one who said it, so that Jonathan
Yeah,
would think that. So yeah.
that's true. All right.
Okay.
Is there anything else this episode that sticks out to you before we get to confessional counts?
um I don't think so. I mean, I think I actually really like Ozzy's game. I think I say this almost every week, but I am always just impressed that this is definitely the best Ozzy we've seen on Survivor.
Oh, by a huge margin, yes.
Yeah.
I will say it is interesting because this rivalry was built up between him and Coach for some while, and then that
Mhm.
kind of fell to the wayside, which
Yeah.
I get it. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, but it seemed like, oh, they didn't really have a talk or anything, and then suddenly they were just cool.
Yeah. Um yeah, I was expecting a little more fireworks from them, especially with Coach's elimination here. But yeah, no, it's kind of just water under the bridge almost.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for confessionals?
Yes, yes, I am, because we value screen time on this channel.
Yes, we do. Okay, so we were just talking about Ozzy, still the confessional leader here with 48 confessionals.
Solid number.
Followed
Very
right
solid.
behind him is Christian at 45 confessionals.
He's catching up. He's
Mhm.
trying to come back.
Yep. And then we got a tie here at 31 confessionals between Rick and Rizzo.
All right. Next episode, one of them has to either meet the Banu bar or beat it.
Yes, exactly. And then after them, we got Sri at 27 confessionals.
All right.
And then right under Sri, we got Emily at 26 confessionals.
Makes sense.
Yep. And then we got a tie here at 22 confessionals between Aubrey and Stephanie.
Interesting. Because it feels like Stephanie is very underedited,
Yeah.
whereas Aubrey is very least being shown. So
Yeah.
that's why that confuses me a little bit.
Aubrey is being shown, but it's like consistently shown. Stephanie is like sometimes there, sometimes she's giving us filler confessionals that are kind of just like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm on this reward or whatever. Like sometimes she gets those kind of confessionals that you kind of miss. Whereas I think Aubrey's is less, but like every time that she's got something, it's a little more like story relevant.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then right under them, we got Jonathan at 21 confessionals.
All right.
Um, and then next we got Joe at 19 confessionals.
Makes sense.
And then at the end, we got Tiffany at 15 confessionals.
It's climbed up so much in the past three episodes,
It had
which I'm happy for.
She's in the last three episodes, she's gotten 6, 3, and 4 confessionals. So
yeah,
and then also Coach went out with 29 confessionals. Good content there for Coach. And then Chrissy at 11 confessionals.
I don't know. I feel like they need to, even though they're not confessionals where it's, confessional time on the island and he's away. If he's just chilling with the cameramen and he's breaking the fourth wall, or he's coming up with haikus like he's, like he's Monk Lin Manuel Miranda or something.
Uh-huh.
Like, I need to see that image now. But no, it's like, yeah, I feel that's also count. That should count to some regard, but I digress.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss Coach. Coach was giving us a lot of entertainment. People I was watching, they hate Coach. They were very they cheered when he got eliminated. It's so interesting watching with casual Survivor viewers because also I had to explain to them why Suri is good at Survivor before the episode, and they kind of weren't getting it. And then this episode happened, and then they were like, "Oh, I see."
Well, there's that. I feel
Yeah.
like it's also like Suri, if you are very surface level, it's like there's a reason she gets the end in
Yeah.
almost every single game she plays.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's usually some bullshit kryptonite, MacGuffin that comes in that takes her out.
Yeah.
It is because she has one of the best social games and in reality comp history.
Yeah.
And if there's any Suri haters out there or someone that doubts why she's good, just look at Traders. That was a master class on how to play a game.
I think this episode was a masterclass to Suri. Like you see
Yes.
immediately why she's great in this episode. But like I said, a lot of casual fans, guess what they care about? Challenges. If you're not a master challenge player, then casual fans say that you're not playing the game. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
This is
but
coming from a challenge beast.
I know.
Like, this is coming from a challenge beast. That's silly. There's so many more levels.
I know. I literally will be with my friends and like I'll be like, Suri's playing a great game, and they're like, but she's not winning challenges. And I'm like, that's not her game.
Do you ever bring up the argument Sandra's won twice and she never won a challenge in her damn life?
Yeah, well, they also don't like Sandra. So I mean,
Okay.
to be
Well,
fair,
there's the, there's
I don't like Sandra. I don't think she is that great of a winner.
I like her for entertainment. Uh,
Even then, I think she got more entertaining after her wins. Like then she became like the queen, like
the queen.
properly.
Yeah.
But like her first two iterations, I thought she was like okay at best.
Well, my two favorite sound bites from her is "I can get loud too"
Yeah,
when she's yelling in Pearl Islands, and the other one is like, "Last time I was mean, this time I'm gonna be meaner." Like
yeah.
those were like some sound bite I really enjoy from her. The
What
thing
about
is,
I'm
from
against
each
you, Russell?
that's another good one, but I feel
Yeah.
like the other one I might. All right, I feel like a good sound bite. Yeah, you get the context behind it, but you can but it's applicable in different situations.
Mhm.
Like, one of my favorite ones is from Clone High where it's like, I like your funny words, Magic Man. When someone's saying a bunch of like funny words, like you may get the reference, but even if you don't get the reference,
Mhm.
it's just a fun thing to say.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what makes like a really great soundbite. It's like,
Mhm.
like I could go in a whole deep dive about it, but I
Yeah.
digress.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta look at our winner rankings. Sandra was never very high on either one of our lists for either one of her games.
That is fair. It would be interesting for me to do that list again now that, well, I feel like, especially when I was watching during the pandemic, like I still like, I feel like how I view the game has definitely evolved, not just because, we've played orgs and stuff, but
Mhm.
also because we've been doing this channel for almost several years. And then, we've also been a bit more, like we like study the game. We talk about like the positioning and stuff like that. So I say we have more of an eye than we did back when we made that list originally.
Yeah. Okay. We already know we got some lists coming up after the season.
We gotta come up with some content. I know Brant
Yeah.
Steels will be coming back. I know we haven't done them in a while, but once more free time comes our way, I will say it's
We already
more on
got
me than it is Joe.
yeah, we already got some ideas for brand steel, so I'm excited for us
Yes.
to go ahead and start getting back into those.
Yeah. They are fun. Also, I just noticed we're both wearing blue shirts.
Oh
This was
yeah.
not planned.
We're a couple of blue
Uh,
boys over here.
blue boys. Um, but yeah. And get back to it. It's because that is the interesting thing between like a casual audience and people like us who like deep dive and have a
Mhm.
deeper understanding of the nuances that come to a game. But yeah. Um, Also, speaking of Alliance, because I was thinking, oh, Blue Boys. I was like, Jonathan is officially now a member of the Muchacho Alliance
The
because he was like
brochacho.
the Bro Chachos Alliance because he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because he partnered with Christian in a pretty fun confessional. It was like, yeah, Bro Chachos are back. Jonathan
Yeah.
is now a member.
Yeah, exactly. So Jonathan's gonna have to be talking to John and Dan as well, after the season. They're gonna have some fun poker nights, I'm sure. You
Agreed.
know,
Agreed.
but yeah, let's hop in here to MVPs and LVPs.
MVP, I'm going to give it to Tiffany. I think this is a strong episode from her, and I think she has gotten the target off her back right now. And I feel like she can play in the like new middle a little bit. She will be an extra vote. And then she can kind of decide how this game goes. Plus, she won immunity, and plus, she has like a new ally in Joe after losing her old one.
Mm.
And I think she handled the blowback of like people voting for her and stuff and everything and kind of rolled with it. So I will say that the fact that she's getting more screen time and she won immunity, I'm going to give MVP to her.
Well, that's good, all good, all well and good. But the person who deserves the MVP more than anyone is the person who gave us the
Straight.
best the best content, and that is Rick
Sorry.
Devens. Yeah.
Oh, Rick Devens is also
Yeah.
another big
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like he's up worthy. Honorable mention to Suri as well, because she
Yeah. Yeah.
with
I do
almost
think
like
I do think this is a like potential winner episode for Suri with how it
yeah,
was showcased.
with
Um,
almost ease. She was like,
yeah.
no, we gotta go for Coach and Chrissy. That's what makes sense. We get rid of that duo now.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the moments of Tribal Council so much. Every time Rick is on my screen, I just always go, man, like that's why I love Rick. That's why I love Devins, is because he does stuff like this and he makes Tribal Councils interesting. Okay, I think
He does.
90% of players do not know how to make Tribal Council interesting. It's very boring for a lot of people, except Rick Devens always is like trying to deliver every single time, and that's what I love him for.
I think it's always tough because you have to find that right balance of it,
Yeah.
because you want to be entertaining, but you don't want to be. And this is coming from someone who has been known to make a lively tribal council here and there.
Mhm.
It's like you want to be entertaining, but at the same time, you don't want to come off as like cocky and arrogant,
Yeah.
or you don't want to put too much attention on you,
Yeah, I mean,
because the more,
Jonathan is now like going to be coming for him because he literally was like, "Oh, your true colors are showing here," but it's like also Rick kind of knows that he is on, that he was one of the names. So like, yeah, you're
yeah,
gonna do what you need to.
it,
It's
yeah,
the
it was like let's
hypocrisy
call a
of
spade a spade. It's like we know who's working with who. Let's not bullshit, or like
yeah,
let's not bullshit each other. We know who's working with who here. It's just
yeah,
where the number is going to lie. We both know the targets, good sir. We both
yeah.
know who we want to survive this tribal council.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but I just love it. I think Rick Devens is on his way to be a potential Hall of Fame person for a future year because his first go was legendary. He's having a good run here. If he makes it deep, I mean, he's going to be up there.
Yeah, I can see. I think you can make a pretty solid case for him. I
Yeah.
won't just say how to say.
Yeah. Listen,
If
I will
y'all,
say this upcoming Hall of Fame, there's going to be a lot of people I think from this cast that are going to be brought up. And it's not because necessarily of this season. There are just a lot of people who already probably should be in the contention who are now
yeah,
also available. And then there's going to be a couple people who this is like their luck. Let's get you into the Hall of Fame season.
yes, I agree. But we'll another
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But yes, for those who didn't watch last year's Hall of Fame, please watch it, because they gave, like there's a reason Joe is my friend, because I wouldn't say I'm chaotic. I'm
Oh,
just
you're chaotic.
entertaining, and I might fuck with the rules
Yeah.
when I see fit.
We're changing the rules next time. I wanted to make sure everyone got three people in. And so I said, everyone can, like you can keep going. This little asshole knew that I did not want anyone who had only played one time yet because there's just been so many people who have played multiple times who are iconic and legendary in the world of Survivor. And he says, nah, I'm just going to start putting up all these one time winners. Um, and so it was about 30 minutes of me just having to sit there and say, no, no, no.
And then Jake was just there for the ride.
Yeah. And then finally we ended that charade. Now, three strikes and you're out. That's the new rule next for this year. Three strikes and
The
you're out.
only reason I stopped was because I didn't want to submit Jake to more of it. So that
Yeah. Yeah, he was a bystander in all of that. And he was trying to be like, yeah, yeah, that's a good one. And I was just
yeah.
like, no, no, no. uh,
But yeah, that was fun. All right. LVP.
LVP. I mean, I'm gonna give it to Chrissy. I know you're gonna probably give it to
I
Coach, but I'm giving it to Chrissy because I think she did things actively that was bad for their team.
I will say I think that is pretty fair. I will just to like give us some more options as well. because I do feel like she was also unlucky.
Mhm.
So like
Yeah. Yeah. Unfair,
there
unlucky.
were ways she could have probably saved herself, be it
Yeah.
not targeting Rizzo or playing her shot in the dark to
Yeah.
better their odds. But I digress. I am going to give it to Jonathan because
Mhm.
now I feel like while D was like and him had some like like kind of like, oh, well, you voted out Charlie. Yeah, and then you voted out Camilla. And then like he got rid of that. Now there might be something more with like Devins that comes up. And now like since Coach is gone and he didn't vote with it, like I feel like he's probably gonna be next on the chopping block for the four horsemen or the two horsemen and Rizzo, who's just kind of there like I think I'm going to ride off in the sunset somewhere else, down the yellow brick road with Cerise was
Yeah. See,
Rizzo.
I don't think I mean I don't think Jonathan's screwed. I really think that we're going to be losing a nerd squad member because I just like thinking of how Rizzo especially is going to want to operate. He's going to want this. He doesn't want one side to win because then that side could end up having a bunch of power in
course.
numbers. So you got to kind of like whittle both sides down. We just lost two people here from honor integrity. You got to make the flip here. So
No,
that's going to be the big one.
yeah, and they were even saying in this episode, they were like, I don't want that side to like still grow and be strong because then they have like majority and they decide. So it's like, yeah, I do think it's going to be there. I'm just thinking a
Mhm.
little further down, maybe not further
Yeah.
down the line, but all it takes is one well placed idol or shot in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan, I don't think can win this game. I mean, he's pissing off so many people at this point. Like he's not winning by any stretch. I
Yeah.
mean, there's only five people who technically can win based off of not having a zero confessional episode, and those people being Aubrey, Christian, Emily, Ozzy, and Rizzo. And I don't think
I
Emily's
got two.
winning. I don't think Emily's winning. um,
We
I
haven't gotten those moments yet. That's not to
yeah.
say that she won't do good.
Yeah.
It's
No, you
just we
can go
haven't had
deep.
those like aha moments yet.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's I feel like they've also kind of shown her in some negativity in terms of how she's played the game. So I don't think it's gonna be her. Um I'm still just in the boat of I don't see how Rizzo gets a jury to vote for him just because of no one had seen him. He does not have those connections. Um
I don't know. I think
I
I I don't know. I think I'm seeing him week by week. His name keeps being brought up, but they never keep doing it. I
yeah,
feel
I mean
will
that's
he win?
fine.
I'm not. Listen, he's number two. I have four people left.
Yeah.
He's number two. Like in on my side. Here's who I think has from best chance to least greatest chance of winning this game: Christian, Rizzo, Stephanie, and then Tiffany. So like
Mhm.
that's the order I have here. Part of it is
Yeah.
based off of edit. Part of it I think like I think there is a case for Rizzo. We just need to see more of the game.
It's not even about seeing more of the game. It's genuinely things that are just out of his control. That he had no like he entered this game with no real chance of winning based off of age, based off of no one had talked to him or had real connections. Um so the uphill battle is just way more tremendous than anyone else in this cast, and he can play genuinely the greatest game of Survivor, and I think at best he gets second place.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
This is a weekly debate between Joe and I.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like Rizzo. I love Rizzo. I enjoy him on my screen. It's purely based off of in All Star seasons they love voting for older people, like people more in their age that they can relate to. And if you're coming in without being known, you're just not going to have those existing relationships. You haven't talked to the people as much. People want to vote for their friends. Like at the end of the day, all of the people on here are friends with each other, and they're going to want to vote for their friends.
Depends on who the other two at the end are. But that is a discussion that we will resume next time on the Day After podcast.
Yes, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.